Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I can't believe some of the words that are about to come out of my mouth. I seriously can't. How do I even begin to say this? A former leader of Al-Qaeda in Iraq is coming here to the United States of America. According to Sky News and several other outlets, he's on his way. He'll be here. He's like scheduled to come. This is not an absurd statement I've been making. This man is a wanted terrorist. He had a $10 million bounty on his head up to December of 2024. He founded Al-Qaeda in Iraq. He founded HTS. He founded the al-Nusra Front. He was friends with al-Baghdadi, the leader and founder of ISIS that Trump killed. And that man is coming here to the United States of America. I would like to tell you that I'm making this up. I would like to tell you that I dreamt this up, but that's not what happened. Matt didn't wake up this morning and go, you know what would be really cool? To tell a lie and let you guys know that there's going to be somebody who's responsible for the deaths of American service members during one of our wars, quite literally a freaking terrorist coming here into the United States of America. But that is exactly what it would seem. That's what's happening. I can't make this crap. Yeah, I see you in the comment section. Time for Gitmo? No, he's not coming to Gitmo. Biden removed his bounty. Trump shook hands with him. Why not? Take him into America, right? Holy cow. That's happening. That is 100%. I'm not joking. I'm not joking at all. Beth Ann coming in, becoming a true supporter. Good to have you on board. No, this isn't a joke. This isn't a joke at all. Let me open it up. Let me show you guys exactly who I'm talking about. Those of you who have no clue who I'm talking about, this is the man in question. This is the actual bounty for him. This was the bounty that used to exist until it was removed. I'm wearing pants. I'm not standing up right now. I'm a little bit livid. This man's coming into our country. Allegedly coming into our country in September. Why? So we can speak at the UN. We have literally reached the point of lunacy where this man is coming to the United States of America to speak at the UN. Yeah. And so some of you probably aren't going to believe me, but that's actually happening. Here's the first article that somebody ended up sharing with me on it. Let me go ahead and zoom in on that to you. Syrian Islamic leader Shara will speak at the UN. The Islamic group, which rules Syria from Damascus, HTS, has long been designated a terrorist organization by the UN, the US, and the UK. But once the hardline group toppled Assad, things rapidly changed. No, you don't say. What happened to not negotiating with him? He's still a damn terrorist. I can pull it up right now. I haven't even checked in days, but I promise you he's still on the list. I promise you. So is HTS. They're an FTO, along with the al-Nusra Front that Jelani founded. This isn't a joke. This isn't a joke. Do you want to see it on Sky News? Do you want to see it on another news outlet? I'll do it. I'll pull it up for you. I can't. This was literally brought to my attention a little bit ago. Amy Meck, luckily, had just responded to one of the comments I made on one of her posts, and I just DM'd her. I was like, hey, you need to take a look at this. I'm just going to open it up. Here's a Times of Israel report. Syria's Shara will address UN General Assembly in New York in September. That's him. For those of you who are unaware, this is the guy. He took off his terrorist attire and put on a suit and tie as if that absolves him of his crimes. This dude was literally taken into custody by U.S. forces in Iraq for his role in AQI and the horrific crimes that he had done. And he is coming here to the United States of America dressed up like that to speak at the UN. Anybody at all in the comment section outraged? What the hell are we going to do about this? Why? We need to figure something out, and we need to do it fast. This man cannot be allowed to come into this country. And if he does, his butt needs to be down in Gitmo getting butt raped, or getting ready to be exchanged for somebody of way more strategic significance, or just killed, murdered, put to death for all of the crimes against humanity that this man has freaking committed, that he continues to do to this day. For those of you who are unaware, there's currently a genocide going on over inside Syria, led by this man. And he's coming to the USA. Less than 3 hours. Holy crap. I am like, without, like, it is not very often that I am speechless, but today is definitely one of those days. I finished making the video, slammed some dinner real quick, started researching, and poof, head exploded. Dude is literally coming to the USA, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Well, if you think that that's crazy, he's coming to the USA. What if I told you that Trump made this announcement today? What if I just told you that randomly Trump came up with this announcement today?
The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado, has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them. In the 21st century, we've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers from dangerous places all over the world. And thanks to Biden's open door policies, today there are millions and millions of these illegals who should not be in our country. In my first term, my powerful travel restrictions were one of our most successful policies, and they were a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil. We will not let what happened in Europe happen to America. That's why on my first day back in office, I directed the Secretary of State to perform a security review of high-risk regions and make recommendations for where restrictions should be imposed. Among the national security threats their analysis considered are the large-scale presence of terrorists, failure to cooperate on visa security, inability to verify travelers' identities, inadequate record-keeping of criminal histories, and persistently high rates of illegal visa overstays, and other things. Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States. That is why today I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others. The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed. The list is subject to revision based on whether material improvements are made, and likewise, new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world. But we will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm, and nothing will stop us from keeping America safe. Thank you very much.
You know, before I get to all the comments that you guys just dropped and retouch on who this terrorist is, because a bunch of people are pouring in here, I want to go back all the way to the beginning of this video. Now, I have been very, I don't want to say outspoken for Trump, but I do tell the truth. I tell you guys that I voted for the guy. I tell you where I think his policies are. I tell you where I think his weaknesses are. And I am here to tell you the truth. You ready for this one? Here you go. Listen to what he says.
The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado, has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted.
The recent terror attacks in Boulder, Colorado. That's how he opens this up, with what took place in Boulder, Colorado, saying that we're going to do all of this immigration reform, for lack of better terms, due to that. Now, who knows, out of sheer curiosity, where this man, this one that's speaking up on your screen, that firebombed a couple people and killed 2 that I'm aware of, who knows where he hailed from? Anybody? If you guessed Egypt, you are correct. Now, do you think that Egypt, the country in which this man hailed from, which caused Donald Trump to have that opening statement, was on his list of countries to be either banned or have travel restrictions placed on. Who wants to take a wild guess as we sit here with a foreign terrorist about to come to the United States to speak at the frickin' UN? The answer is no, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, this man's country of origin was not listed. You know, that same country that has like a bunch of material support for Hamas pouring across their border, going into the Gaza Strip, that country? Yeah, that one. The same country where that video I played last night of that young woman getting like molested in the back of the taxi, asking the guy not to like do those things to her. Do you think that country's listed? No. The same country, by the way, in which Rob got detained when he entered it. Do you think that country was listed? The country's name is Egypt. And the answer is no, it wasn't listed as one of the countries that ends up getting freaking shut down and or having travel restrictions placed on it. Imagine that. Surprise, surprise. 3M Forge wants to remind you guys to smash the like button and thanks me for everything that I do. Thank you, 3M. Greatly appreciate you, brother. I used your knife tonight to cook because people asked. I used the knife that you gifted me and handcrafted for me to cook fettuccine Alfredo decorated with chicken and what I put some like other spicy stuff on it. I like my chicken Alfredo spicy. I don't know why. Hancock Faraday came in gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Appreciate you, brother. And Demon AOC came in with $100 Canadian saying, please call it Mossad. And that's got to be in reference to Jelani coming over here to the United States of America. Yeah, absolutely right. We need to do that. We need to call Mossad. Somebody needs to take care of this guy. I will be shocked if there is not a massive protest for this man coming to this country. The fact, you know what like really pisses me off? I don't even think there is going to be a massive protest for this man coming to the country. I don't think there will be. There's a massive protest when Netanyahu comes to the country. There's a massive protest when Trump shows up somewhere to speech. Hell, there's people firebombing Jews in Boulder, Colorado. But God forbid anybody show up to protest a dang terrorist who's killed American service members overseas. God forbid. And you want to know how jacked up this country is? Because just while I'm on my rant and rave before we get into some of the other current events that are going on around the world, here's a reason to rant and rave. I got really excited the other day. You know why I got excited? Because earlier today, the White House ended up putting out some information. I can't remember if it was earlier today or yesterday. I'm going to have to go back and check. Was it earlier today or yesterday that they ended up putting it out? It must have been yesterday. Hold on. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. It's coming. It's coming. Remember when the White House put this out? Said that they were going to deport his family while we're talking about terrorists coming from other nations and everything else. Federal judge today thought it'd be a good idea to go ahead and block deporting his family. I'll say that again. Federal judge appointed by Biden here in the great state of freaking Colorado decided it would be a great idea to not deport his family, to put a block in place. Now, I'm not saying that the judge is extremely liberal, although I haven't even looked at the record, and I can tell you they probably are. And they have refused to deport the family of this man. And just as I've reported on the show time and time again, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That this gentleman's children, his wife, everybody else that he surrounds himself with likely all have the same radical ideology because he is the religious leader of the household. The religious leader of the household. So he is going to be the one teaching all of these things to that family and making sure that they abide by it. And yet a federal judge decided it would be a good idea not to deport his family in an order today. Demon AOC coming in, dropping another $100 again, saying, send the UN overseas. For the love of God, kick them the hell out of the United States of America. Withdraw from the UN if this man is allowed to speak there. Never have I ever been more pissed off in my life than I have to learn that a freaking foreign terrorist is coming here to the United States of America. Somebody that's killed my brothers and sisters is coming here to the United States of America. And he's being welcomed with open arms. It has got to be a joke. I have to be living in the damn Twilight Zone. How are we about to be deporting all of these illegal immigrants, but allow that man to step foot here on United States territory? How? And I guarantee you it doesn't even make mainstream media because they're too lazy to go and do the research on this individual and discover who he truly is. That man that's going to be coming to the freaking UN. Undoubtedly. I have the utmost belief that he is going to be establishing a Sunni Islamic caliphate over inside Syria. And that man is being allowed to come here to the United States. Runasaur coming in, gifting out 20 Speak the Truth memberships tonight. Holy cow, you guys are being generous. D-Rock says IDF is to escort Greta's boat to Ashdod for arrest. Hell yes. I heard that they were going to allow her to show up. I heard that Greta Thunberg and her little boat of like commies was going to be able to like come over, and that they were going to grab her, and hopefully they do escort her, and that they end up arresting her butt, because guess what? You shouldn't be allowed to do that crap. You shouldn't. I don't know what point they're trying to make. I don't know what they're trying to prove, but her butt definitely 1000% needs to be arrested. I'm with you. I'm with you. And I hope they look into that whole drone fiasco that they ended up claiming last month, trying to say that like Israel ended up shooting a bunch of freaking one-way suicide attack drones at them. I hope they find explosives on that boat. I hope they swap their hands. I hope they do everything in human power to put that woman behind bars. 3M Forge coming in, gifting out 10 Speak the Truth memberships. Appreciate you, brother. That's a damn fine knife, by the way, 3M. I can't tell you how much I've appreciated that knife over the last several months. I can't tell you how much I do. If you guys are curious what the federal judge's name is who decided to block the deportation of the family, his name is Gordon Gallagher. Gordon Gallagher. So feel free to tell people how ticked off you are. Now, if terrorism wasn't bad enough here in the United States of America, I got another one coming for you. Don't worry. Outer Spaces Lands coming in, gifting out an additional 10 Speak the Truth memberships. You guys are just blessing the freaking chat tonight. Just absolutely blessing it. Absolutely wild. This is one heck of a day. Washington State man arrested on federal charges alleging he provided material support to Palm Springs fertility clinic. Now, this is where we start tying a lot of this crap back into overseas. Told you guys long time ago. I do, in fact, believe, and I have great reason to believe, that Russia is responsible for a lot of the mass shootings and school shootings and a lot of the terror attacks and things like that that are taking place here over in the United States of America. And here we have a Washington State man that got arrested on federal charges for providing the material support. And when you start reading through this report on him, and this is released from the Office of Public Affairs, the U.S. Department of Justice. This isn't just some random thing I put together. Kash Patel actually put this out today. Said he got arrested when he landed back here in the United States. Thank Poland for making sure and helping out with it. Tristan Allen coming in, giving out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Greatly appreciate you. I'm sure Matt has pants in your volume. That sounds amazing. Thank you, Tristan Allen. I have worked on the volume and worked on the microphone way too much more than I care to admit. The amount of pounds of ammonium nitrate that this man had shipped over there. And the crazy part is they did it all the way back in January. I read through this entire thing and I'm just looking at it. It's insane. Yeah, here's his name, by the way. Daniel Park. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that middle name. Daniel Park. Ended up shipping a buttload of ammonium nitrate. I believe it was hundreds of pounds, if I remember right. Park allegedly sent large amounts of explosive precursors to the man who drove the car bomb into the fertility clinic in the FBI, blah, 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 blah. They ended up, here we go. Park sent the first shipments of approximately 180 pounds of ammonium nitrate to Bartka shortly before traveling to his residence, where he stayed with him from January 25th to February 8th. And it was there and then that they ended up looking at how to actually put this entire thing together. Now, interesting enough, everything that was taking place about the fertility clinics wasn't exactly mainstream media at the time that he ended up doing it. But he still did it. And then he fled to the EU shortly after the bombing took place and then made his way over into Poland. And of course, you know that there has been numerous FSB agents that have been arrested in Poland over the last year. Terror Watch, Australia. G'day, Matt. My Aussie mates who were former SOF operators always tell me how much they loved working alongside their United States colleagues whilst on operations in the Middle East. Love your work, bro, from Australia. Dude, we love the Aussies too, man. I've got a picture, I'd have to go find it, of me hanging out with Santa Claus over inside of Afghanistan. And that Santa Claus happened to be an Aussie guy. And that place that we went to go hang out for Christmas that night happened to be a place where I would go and I would frequent with the Aussies over there. They're great people, man. I love the Aussies to death. I've got nothing but good things to say about them. I have a lot of bad things to say about MPs in every single military, but particularly the Aussies, absolutely I do. Whew, man. amount of stupidity that's taking place inside of America today, I don't think can be expressed in just words alone. I really can't. Anyways, so good news. That guy is getting indicted and he's going bye-byes. So great. Now, while we're on the same topic of stupidity and terrorism and officials doing things they shouldn't be doing here inside of America, I've got another one to present to you. BBG coming in, gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Appreciate you. Golf clap for BBG. Thank you, sir. Love you guys, man. Here you go. Let's make it happen. Because God forbid you speak out against radical Islam in the United States of America. Boulder City Council members seek backlash regarding city's Pearl Street attack statement. Can't make this crap up, ladies and gentlemen. Sky God coming in, gifting out 20 Speak the Truth memberships. Dang, man, y'all are just in here dropping them like it's hot. Statement from Boulder City Council and city manager denounced the attack on the Pearl Street Mall, which ended up drawing criticism. Taisha Adams' name was absent from Monday's letter. That drew frustration from some of the community on social media. Adams, though, has said she agreed with the vast majority of the statement. She just had a tiny sticking point. Her tiny sticking point was the statement only included anti-Semitism as motivation for the attack and not anti-Zionism. She wanted to make sure that people knew that this man wasn't just motivated by anti-Semitism. God forbid you call it a terror attack. And wait till you hear what she actually said about it. She wanted to make sure that the term Zionism was written in there. She made the excuse because she was traveling and she didn't have time to get back and everything else to why she wasn't able to get her responses and thrown there in time. That's right. Because clearly it was only because of Zionism, not anti-Semitism, that man ended up conducting the attack. I'm sure he wasn't motivated by anything else, right? He couldn't have possibly have been motivated by anything else whatsoever. Just anti-Semitism. Semitism and Zionism. For those of you who missed this morning's podcast, this is literally the statement this nut job made reportedly while driving to Boulder in his car. This is him. This is what he was motivated by. Read those words. Read them. Read them. He is a racist pile of garbage. Zionism is a great excuse. And oh, by the way, as long as you think that Israel has a right to exist and defend itself, congratulations, you're a Zionist. I don't know if you realize that or not. If you think Israel has a right to exist and defend itself, you know what? I'm not Israeli by any means, but I just feel like pissing people off today that may or may not come into the chat. I want to give them an excuse to be angry at me. Be angry. Be frustrated. Israel has a right to exist. This flag behind me, by the way, want to be really upset? It's got dirt from Gaza on it. It's got dirt from Lebanon on it. It was carried in battle shooting Hamas in the freaking forehead. On my buddy's back. Getting rid of terrorists in this world. It's a very good thing. And for this city councilwoman not to come out and state that it is a blatant attack against Jews blows my flipping mind. Blows my mind. How she could get away with stating that crap. Don't worry, she had some other choice words for what she wanted to call that gentleman. What if I told you that this woman, right here, this is the councilwoman in question, ended up describing it as a vigilante attack. Vigilante. She's not okay with it, but it's when disenfranchised people end up taking matters into their own hands, likened it to BLM movements and everything else. Holy cow. You've got to be kidding me. Who is electing these people? Who's doing this? Who is allowing these people to breed? Who is allowing these people to actually hold a public office in any way, shape, or form? This woman right now is being called out of office. They're trying to kick her butt out of office. But in the liberal state of Colorado, good luck making it happen. She needs to go. Absolutely needs to go. Oh, this is a fun one. This is a fun one. You guys are going to love this. Remember this guy? The Columbia protester that everybody threw a massive fit about? Oh my goodness. Demon AOC and USA open Egypt canal to make money. Good idea. No, it's not. Not the way we ended up doing it, in Matt's opinion. Do you want Matt's opinion, or do you just want the facts? Egypt cooperates, so maybe that's why. Egypt doesn't cooperate. Egypt hasn't been cooperating. Egyptian soldiers, as a matter of fact, last year shot members of the IDF when they ended up clearing out Rafah. Egypt and Egyptian soldiers allowed their border remain unsecure and massive quantities of material support to flow across the Rafah crossing and in to Gaza. There is a solid, and I mean a solid chance that the bulk of the material used by Hamas on October 7th came across the Rafah border crossing. It wasn't until Rafah got shut down by the IDF that everything started to quiet down. So no, in my opinion, Egypt doesn't cooperate. Demon AOC, to answer your question, no, it's not a good idea to have the Red Sea open the way it has been. By the way, merchant traffic in the Suez Canal hasn't increased at all, to my knowledge. Most ships, and we can go check it right now. I haven't checked it in like a week, but the Houthis are still targeting ships. They've threatened to target any ships that are supporting Israel. So why, oh why, would anybody choose to travel through it right now? They stopped attacking U.S. ships, allegedly. They're still firing ballistic missiles at Israel. They fired one yesterday, probably did another one today. I just didn't even bother checking. That's how many times they end up shooting at them. It just ended up being old news now. It used to be when a ballistic missile got fired from a terrorist organization at a legitimate country, people gave a shit. But now, it's just yesterday's news. No. And I also think that they were getting kickbacks from Russia. I think they were getting kickbacks from Iran and several other nations for that. That's my personal opinion. It's just what I say. That's my personal belief. I don't know what to say about that. Egypt cooperates. No, they don't. Not even remotely close. This gentleman, though, wouldn't you know it, he happens to be major Hamas operative. The same thing that we have been complaining about over here in the United States of America for the longest time. Danny Goland, huge tunnels from Gaza to Egypt. Previous government destroyed them, but this government turned a blind eye. You are correct. Thank you for pointing that out, Danny. Those tunnels didn't dig themselves. All of those supplies and equipment being smuggled in through those tunnels going into Gaza got there somehow. Somebody had to turn a blind eye. Somebody got paid off. All of that stuff was allowed to happen. And then magically, when the IDF appears out of a tunnel, an Egyptian soldier shoots at him. How many reports of Egypt shooting Hamas operators coming out of those tunnels did we hear about? How many reports of Egyptian soldiers shooting at, I don't know, let's say civilians? Maybe the 100,000 that are reported to have fled to Cairo. Did you hear about? None. I haven't heard about a single one. And yet when the IDF ends up popping up on the other side, somebody squeezes off a couple rounds and gets themselves killed. Egypt, not a friend, and their dang country needs shut off. Now, to make matters a little bit worse, if the United States wasn't enough turmoil, let's go ahead and talk about what Putin had to say today.
На высшем уровне. Но как же проводить в этих условиях подобные встречи? О чем говорить? Кто вообще ведет переговоры с теми, кто делает ставку на террор, с террористами? И за что их поощрять, предоставляя передышку в боевых действиях, которая будет использована для накачки режима западным оружием, для продолжения насильственной мобилизации и подготовки других террористических актов, подобных тем, которые были осуществлены в Брянской и Курской областях. Что касается вопросов за на высшем уровне,
Thanks,
но
Putin.
также
Those are some great words you had for us, bud. Really appreciate it. So, yeah, apparently Ukraine is a terrorist country because it ended up launching drones against legitimate military targets over inside of Russia. But Putin invading a foreign country, that's not a terrorist activity. That's just a special military operation. Holy cowballs. And, oh, by the way, Putin basically just said that they're not going to negotiate with Ukraine anymore. So the peace deals are gone. No more ceasefire negotiation, none of that. And to add insult to injury, not only are they talking about doing that, but they also threatened Europe today in the very same meeting.
Новейший ракетный комплекс средней дальности «Орешник» по своим характеристикам сегодня не имеет аналогов в мире. Боевое оснащение ракеты позволяет гарантированно преодолевать любые существующие и перспективные средства противоракетной обороны. Данным ракетным комплексом с гиперзвуковыми блоками возможно поражать различные цели – от одиночных до площадных, а также высокозащищенных с высокой эффективностью. Исходя из поставленных задач и дальности действий данного оружия, оно может поражать цели на всей территории Европы, что выгодно его отличает от других видов высокоточного оружия большой дальности. Как вы уже сказали, массированное применение данного вида оружия будет сопоставимо с применением ядерного оружия. Разработка ракетного комплекса «Орешник» позволит расширить боевые возможности ракетных войск стратегического назначения по поражению различных типов целей в соответствии с поставленными задачами как в неядерном, так и в ядерном снаряжении. Высокая оперативная готовность комплекса позволяет в кратчайшие сроки провести переприцеливание по любому назначенному объекту и нанести ему поражение. С учетом положительного результата проведенного пуска, полагается целесообразным принять комплекс на вооружение, продолжить дальнейшее использование с наращиванием характеристик и совершенствованием навыков личного состава по его эксплуатации и применению. Доклад закончен.
так и сделаем. Спасибо.
Spasiba, Bolshoi. No, Putin, you're an idiot. Absolute moron. You think it's going to be a good idea to threaten Europe with ballistic missiles while talking about their nuclear capabilities and everything else? You think that's a good call? You think it's going to turn out good for Russia? Putin, even you admitted. Putin, Vlad, listen, even you admitted that NATO would stomp your ass into the ground if you got into a freaking conflict with them. How you allow any of your leadership to come out and state something so absurd is insane. Why? Because you got embarrassed with a bunch of drones launching? And by the way, for those of you commenting, I don't know if you know this or not, but Russia doesn't admit that Ukraine actually targeted any of their functioning aircraft. They're trying to convince the world now that they just went after a bunch of their garbage junk aircraft. That's what they're trying to say, was that they essentially targeted a boneyard and that they were deterrents and everything. Because Russia stores this boneyard that far away and does its best to like deter Ukraine from striking 4,000 kilometers deep. I don't know if you realize that or not, but that was Russia's plan the whole time. We're going to store these things way away. In the odd event the Ukraine is able to get its crap together and launch an attack 4,000 kilometers deep, they're going to put all of that effort into it. That's what they want you to believe. That's what they want you to believe. Yes. No, they are. I'm not making this up. You want me to show you? I show you. Yes, they absolutely admitted that. Who cares? They don't do anything. I've had one land down the street from me, and I didn't even interrupt my conversation. Bingo. The deal is that they're also nuclear capable. And that's an issue. Particularly at a time when we have people that are coming out stating that Russia may very well be launching tactical nukes. I'm with you, Nate. Brother, I'm with you. You know my hate for the Russians. You know how much I hate them. I'm not a big fan of them. But for the love of God, can I at least have one day of normalcy where, like, things are just not crazy anymore? Like, what the hell is going on in the world? I feel like we're living in end times. This is nuts. Henna Barbera. You're a little bit behind. Here's the deal. Al-Jilani is coming to the United States to speak at the UN in September, according to Sky News. The idiot terrorist family who ended up, like, the guy who firebombed everybody over in Boulder, Colorado, killed a couple people, his family, federal judge ended up blocking their deportation today. That happened. What else did I forget to go over? What else did I forget to go over? Oh, evidence that possibly Russia was involved in the bombing over in California. That's last month. Yeah. But we're just going to forget and pretend like none of that has happened, right? So, yeah, terrorists, good, come to the country. Russia, go ahead, threaten to blow up Europe. Anything else that's going on? Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Totally forgot. The Ayatollah came out today and said that it's perfectly acceptable. Well, no, not perfectly acceptable. That it's none of the United States of America's business if they choose to enrich uranium. Freediver coming in, gifting out 10 Speak the Truth memberships. Greatly appreciate you. Iran has reaffirmed that they're going to continue to enrich uranium, despite the fact that just a couple days ago, the Trump administration said that they were really close to a peace deal. Trump came out and said that they were really close, really, really close. And he had really high hopes for it happening. Well, the Ayatollah had some different choice words for him, making sure that he knew that we were not, that the Ayatollah and Iran were not going to be like abiding by the United States' standard, that they were going to continue to enrich uranium, whether we liked it or not, that they were going to knock it out. As a matter of fact, he took it even a step further and he said that, guess what? Not only can we enrich uranium, but we will continue to enrich uranium, and we need no outside support to make it happen. We can do everything here from within our own country. And then he took it like a step further. Like, you want to know how he's like just playing people? If you really want to know how the like Ayatollah is just playing people and playing on their emotions and everything else, I'll just take a look at what this nut job actually. This is a real tweet from the Ayatollah. This is a very real tweet. Came out today. Said thousands of nuclear scientists and researchers have been trained in Iran. Should we disappoint them and make them unemployed and take away their hope in our country's future? The rude, insolent U.S. leaders want this. They're opposed to progress and self-sufficiency for the Iranian people. That's a real quote. That's a real quote from the Ayatollah. He's literally talking job security when we're on the brink of nuclear warfare. Job security. That's a real quote from the Ayatollah. He also ended up cussing, and I never see the Ayatollah cuss. He said, those in power today, the Zionists and the Americans, should know that they can't do a damn thing in this area. And of course, he's talking about enrichment and stopping Iran's nuclear program and everything else. He took it multiple steps further. This man angry tweeted more than Trump did today. Who, by the way, if we're going to talk about statements from one particular leader, and we're going to talk about angry tweets, let's bring up Donald Trump. I just finished speaking by telephone with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. The call lasted approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. We discussed the attack on Russia's docked airplanes by Ukraine and also various other attacks that have been taking place by both sides. It was a good conversation, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. Immediate peace? You think that there is a hope for peace at this point, Don? Oh, Donnie. Wake up and smell Putin's chlamydia. There will be no peace. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attacks on the airfields. And then he stops and he moves on to Iran. He had great words for Zelensky. Apparently nothing for Putin for retaliating. We also discussed Iran and the fact that time is running out on Iran's decision pertaining to nuclear weapons. You don't say. Time has been running out for them, according to you, for the last 2 months, Donnie. It's time to act. We must be made quickly. I stated to President Putin that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and on this, I believe that we were in agreement. President Putin suggested that we will participate in the discussions with Iran and that he could perhaps be helpful in getting this brought to a rapid conclusion. It is my opinion that Iran has been slow walking their decision in this very important matter, and we will need a definitive answer in a very short period of time. Well, that's just fine and dandy, Don. How short is this freaking time fuse that we have going on in Iran? Does anybody know? I don't think we do. We're all waiting for it, and now we've got the actual excuse. And this is something that I know Nate Vance is over in the chat that he has brought up several times on the show before. That Iran, in order to get a deal with them, we have to have somebody in this world that is going to be able to go in and actually inspect and or rip apart and or destroy and or hold onto all that enriched uranium that Iran has. And who better to do that than old Vlad and his commie buddies over inside of Russia? Anybody else? We've been telling you guys that these two conflicts are intertwined for the longest time. That Ukraine and Israel and Iran are all intertwined thanks to Mother Russia. And this proved it. Now the problem is that old Donny Boy ended up deleting this tweet shortly after posting it. It went away. It just fell off the internet. Why do you suppose that is? Do you think maybe it's because in his angry tweet status that him and the Ayatollah were going back and forth in today, that he ended up putting out that Vlad was helping him with Iran? And that maybe, just maybe, that's the excuse for why we've been slow walking on Ukraine? I'm just going to pause for a moment and let you take that in. I'll say that again. Oh, it's on the internet. Once you put it out there, there's no taking it away. It's on the internet. Got deleted, though, by him or whoever manages his account. It seems like POTUS is fronting with that tweet. Calm as a breeze, noticing you, War Pig. Soul says, I think Trump's personal relationship with Putin is getting in the way. Soul, you may be correct, but I also don't think that's the case. I think he's trying to avoid a lot of war. I just think that he's being extremely misled by information from people that shouldn't be giving him information. Here's a weird thought. The president doesn't have the ability to confirm all of the intelligence that comes his way on a daily basis. He gets fed a bunch of different intel from different agencies and different people. He sits down and he gets his update brief on a daily basis. Whoever controls the information in that update brief absolutely 1000% controls national policy. So the real question is who is giving the president this poor advice and poor information? Or is he really just that hard-headed? I don't like to think. Global News UK says, Matt, do you think that Israel will be the deciding factor when the Iran fuse will explode? No, I don't. I think that Netanyahu might get sick of it here in a little bit and that he's eventually going to lose it and launch an attack, but I don't think he can do that. I just saw that drone defense equipment that was en route to Ukraine has now been detoured and moved over into CENTCOM. So equipment that was earmarked for Ukraine for drone defense has now been moved, shifted, taken off the list, and been transferred to go over into the Middle East. SecDef's signature allegedly was on that. Read that right before I came on here as well. So that tells me that, yeah, we are still continuing to increase our defensive capabilities over across the Middle East for a strike that's upcoming on Iran. When is that going to happen? I don't know. I guess it depends on when Vlad and Trump decide it's going to be okay, because that's what it's looking like right now. God forbid we actually use strength. Now, somebody in the comment section earlier asked me to call out Putin for an interview. So, hey, Vlad, can I get one? Or are you just going to use shills like Tucker Carlson? Or can you actually have somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about talk to you, that's not afraid to ask you questions? Because I would be more than happy to interview you. Would love to. Have no problem. One killer to another, Vlad, you and me. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a talk. Let's see how ridiculous your history would stand up to actual history. I would love to have that. God, man. Frickin' people. Swear. I don't even know it's up next in the stack. I just know it's set to piss me off after everything I read today. I just know that. Oh, yeah. I forgot. The one thing that Trump did do today, correct. I know. I'm a little bit livid today. I voted for the man, and I have no problem. I told you guys, I have no problem calling people out for when they're jacked up, and I'm going to do it. Now, the one thing that Trump did do correct was come out and state that there will be no uranium enrichment allowed over inside of Iran. Now, that is despite all of these newspaper articles that we've seen over the last several days alleging that the deal that the U.S. sent to Iran allowed for uranium enrichment. As it turns out, Trump made it very clear that Iran will not be allowed to enrich uranium. So there's a plus. If there was one glimmer of hope out of this entire show that y'all got, understand that it goes down to the uranium enrichment, and they're not going to be allowed to do it. Krista Hardbeck, good God Almighty. Well, we all love you. You kick butt. Thank you, Krista. Ozzy Mick, what's up, buddy? I see you down there in the chat. Ah, man. Ozzy, if you got X, reach out to me on X, dude. I just read your comment. Reach out to me on X. Just write Ozzy Mick when you send me a DM, and I'll talk to you over there, man. We can chat over the phone and do all that stuff. Just shoot me a DM on X, man. We can have a discussion as soon as I get a little bit of time. And I'll probably bitch your way a little bit as well, because you know life, it just is what it is. Well, you guys want to see some good news? It wouldn't be a Speak the Truth podcast episode without having some stuff explode. Now, as I mute that, sorry for not giving you a warning and blowing out your ears and everything else. That is an airstrike that took place today over inside of Khan Yunis. Now, the IDF went in and they targeted, allegedly, the leader who ended up taking the place of Mohammed Sinwar, the one that took the place of Yahya Sinwar. Basically, all of these POS terrorists, they have dismantled the entire network and organization, and all of their leadership is, for lack of better terms, kaput. So this airstrike looks like it would have done the trick if he was anywhere within about a 1 kilometer radius underground of where those explosions were taking place, because you know his freaking butt wasn't above ground when that happened. As a matter of fact, you can tell by the smoke plumes that they were targeting tunnels. We've gone over that in the past before. Jay says, thank you, Matt, for our daily dose of truth. We all know that facts don't care about your feelings. Much love from Canada. Jay, how come I don't see that in the comment section anymore, man? You know, I actually do go over and I read the comments on the videos and on the live sessions and all other stuff. Sometimes I make some smart aleck responses and I get back to you guys. But yeah, Jay, miss your comments, man. Make sure you put them back in there. Make sure you put them back in there. So that's, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I can go over that. I can go over a lot of other stuff. I can go over what I think is going to be really cool, which is going to be a new humanitarian aid distribution point over in the Gaza Strip. I don't know if you guys remember me talking to you guys about the 5-star flipping resort that was in Gaza inside of that open air prison beforehand. Well, the U.S. contractors decided it'd be a good idea to go inside there and set up shop for humanitarian aid distribution. Can't make that crap up either. What a genius, man. That is better. I said this earlier, like that is better to me than going into Saddam's palaces back in the day and barbecuing next to his pool. I freaking love that. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Dude, you're a spook. I don't know what you're talking about. No freaking clue. No clue whatsoever, man. I wish I could tell you that I knew what you were talking about, but yeah, I have no clue. That's just a bunch of, that just is what it is. All right. One last thing that I have to tell you guys about, because it's coming, and I broke it down in the video prior that I ended up putting out earlier tonight. If you guys are interested, you guys need to go over there and you need to check it out. Russia is amassing 30,000 additional troops over inside of Ukraine to launch an assault on Sumy. Well, they're currently outside of Sumy, about 13 miles-ish, roughly, over to the northeast. Ukraine appears it is retrograded and moved back to better defendable positions. Now, the Russians have moved in 2 airborne divisions, 2 airborne brigades, 2 artillery brigades, and several other mechanized units and things of that nature to prepare for the assault. And allegedly, those 30,000 troops are all amassing here. What you're looking at is about 10 miles, okay, to the northeast of Sumy. Now, Sumy is a very strategic location inside of Ukraine. It's a very strategic city. Russia originally, when they invaded Ukraine back in 22, ended up overrunning Sumy. It was one of the first places they did when they ended up storming the borders and taking a bunch of other stuff. I remember watching live, ended up pulling CCTV footage and live streaming Russian soldiers moving across Sumy, literally walking in tanks and all that other crap driving in. Well, now they're about 13 miles outside of it. Last year, it was rumored that they were about to make a massive move on Sumy, but they never got there. Ron Joust coming in, gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Greatly appreciate you, friend. So this is what I'm going to leave you with. And if you guys want the full breakdown, get your butt over and go watch the last video after I end this live stream. I posted it a couple hours ago. Go watch that sucker. Currently, this is the Russian line outside of Sumy. Now, in the last 24 hours, they ended up taking 3 key villages. And when I ended up going over and I looked at the terrain surrounding those villages, it made it really obvious to me why Ukraine decided not to stay there and ended up retrograding and pulling back. And yes, I use the term retrograding. It's essentially a tactical withdrawal to a better position to set up a better defensive area. That's what they ended up doing. So they did a tactical withdrawal back over here to this area. Now, why, oh, why would Ukraine choose to do that with 30,000 Russian troops amassing? Because I want you to look at the distance in between these different areas. Here we have 3 miles, here we have 2 miles, and here we have 4 miles. Now, these red lines denote the probable Russian advancements. And as you can note, the Russian advancements, you'll notice that they all flow down these green lines, which are going to be what we dub in the military as MSRs, or main supply routes. Vitaly says, hey, Matt, I'm a Ukrainian-born American and with Jewish heritage as well. I'm grateful to Jesus that decent men who served our country still exist. God bless you and keep yourself safe. Peace through strength. Thanks, brother. Greatly appreciate you for that comment. It's rough out here. It's rough out here, man. 15 million Jews in this world, 2 billion Muslims. Sucks to be on the freaking minority side, but at the same time, I'm a Christian. That's what I do. And it's the right thing to do at the end of the day. James Lewis says, Trump's may have screwed us on the HTS leader coming to our country. Yeah, you don't say. You don't say. Can we call him an Al-Qaeda leader? Can we call him what he started off as? A prominent member of Al-Qaeda who got arrested by U.S. forces inside of Iraq, turned over to the Iraqi court system, who then ended up getting released, being friends with al-Baghdadi, funding ANF, and then funding HTS. Can we at least do that? All of which were terror organizations, all of which caused him to get a $10 million bounty placed on his head and designated as a terrorist. Can we do that at least before he comes to America? Holy cow, man. I love you guys. Thank you for bringing that up and pissing me off again. Really appreciate it. He is an absolute terrorist. All right, so here we go. Russia's SOL here. They're going to lose a buttload of people. You want to talk about a meat grinder that's about to take place? Keep your eye over on Sumy over the next couple days, because when Russia decides it's going to be a good idea to launch this attack, there's a very big probability. Now, over the last 2 weeks, it's said that they launched well over 200 guided missiles into this area. That's a buttload of freaking guided missiles. It's a lot. Over 200 into this tiny little area. Additionally, I want you to look at the spacing in between these yellow lines, which are going to be their next objectives that they have to take. Why do they have to take those objectives? Because these green lines, as I was stating before, are their MSRs, or the main supply routes. This MSR right here, this green one that goes off your screen, where this arrow and this box are pointing down here at the bottom, lead over into Sumy proper. Now, Russia is going to need that if they want to take Sumy. They're going to need to supply their troops and everything else, which means that there is a massive battle ahead that's about to take place over inside of Ukraine, which also means that there's a buttload of people that are about to die. And I got a feeling that if Russia wanted to pull some crap out of the box that they haven't used in a very long time, it's going to be right here in this area. I've been keeping my eye on this war for a while. I've been watching what's been taking place in the back scene while I'm studying everything else. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is about to be a very big battle. There's going to be a buttload of people that die. And Ukraine planned this out perfectly into a massive kill zone. You guys remember back in 23 when I was talking about Rabotnia and how Ukraine was about to be SOL because they just pulled in there? This is like the flip side reverse of that, right? This right here is turning itself into a massive meat grinder. When you actually look at the micro terrain that's down there that Russia's going to have to contend with and deal with throughout this area, it's going to kill a buttload of them. And I look forward to sharing you the videos. This is going to be a very costly battle for Russia should they choose to push through. And mind you, they have to take it. Now, if they do end up taking this, that's very, very bad. Because in between there and Sumy, there's a couple other things, but it's probably going to end up maybe hit or miss. But Ukraine's going to throw a lot of troops at this as well. Ukraine ends up holding on this. I'll be really surprised if they end up retrograding back from here, because this is really good defendable terrain. Now, the comments ended up coming in saying, like, listen, Russia can just simply, like bomb the crap out of it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nate can attest. I can attest. Lots of people that are still breathing to this day can attest that unless you end up taking direct hits from these suckers, it doesn't matter. And Ukraine has proven themselves to be pretty dang staunch defenders of terrain, as they've been doing it for some time now. Shogu arrived over in the DPRK today. I ended up playing the video for you guys showing his arrival over in North Korea. There's only one thing that I can be thinking of that Shoigu is looking to get, and that is going to be more troops. Currently, North Korean troops are occupying Kursk, holding that down. And now we know why. Because Russia is using the bulk of those troops and pushing them over here to this front, or so it would seem. This push that Russia is about to make is going to be a very serious battle, and I highly doubt it's going to be over in a day or 2 days. If it is, I'll be shocked. There's only so many people that you can fit on this battle space, and they're going to get ripped apart. I promise. It's coming. If Russia wants to use any of their crazy weapons, this is where they're going to use them. Wait and see. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I'm going to bid you adieu. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. What a freaking wild day. Like, what an absolute wild day. Raise hell over Jelani coming here into the United States of America. Tell all your friends about it. Make sure that your government reps know about it. And at a bare minimum, like this channel.